Why gutting Title IX is psychological warfare. Now, this is something I've been alluding to for a long time. What they're doing, what they're pushing, this whole gender revolution stuff, is is socialism, is communism. They're using the Soviet model, and that's what this is all about. These elites really don't care about gender. They're using it as a way to re-educate the masses. They're using it as a way to control the masses. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store. Also, check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for news. All right, let's talk about this news. Growing up in our post third wave feminism world, I always assumed egalitarians wanted to empower women. But as I witnessed male athletes celebrated for their participation in competitive women's sports, I see nothing more destructive to egalitarianism than how women are being affected by this overt psychological warfare. Perhaps there is no literal cabal guiding these tactical non-combatant combat techniques, but the mass-scale demoralization that's taking place in America is leaving women feeling consistently and systematically undermined. I don't know. I think it is a cabal. I think there is the elites that's controlling this, I believe. But what's going on in America isn't de jure psychological warfare, such as Vlad the Impaler parading through streets with victims pierced by vertical poles, or the Third Reich's use of Nazi rallies, or aggressive propaganda, both intended to intimidate potential enemies. No, in America, common sense is now lost in the shuffles as we allow de facto psychological warfare to demoralize half of the population and consequently completely downgrade women's interests as a priority. And I'm surprised more feminists aren't speaking out against this. I'm surprised that a lot of the feminists are actually going along with this whole gender stuff. But by fostering an environment where women must lower their defenses, allow men to infiltrate their once sacred single-sex facilities, and be gaslit into affirming the false claim that there are no legitimate differences between the two sexes, there is now a war on nerves being fought by unwilling soldiers. We know that hormone therapy through testosterone suppression cannot eliminate the inherent athletic advantage that males have over females. I mean, there's tons of studies that show that. So what good does it serve to spread that lie otherwise? As it stands, the sheer fact that men typically have better aerobic capacity, greater bone mass, and stronger, faster muscles could lead to a woman to feel like she's just cursed as the subordinate sex. But by embracing our differences and understanding the uniquely feminine roles we are often perfectly matched to fill, we're likely to instead cultivate a self-confident generation of women. One consequence of coddling and the overarching self-esteem movement that has permeated parenting methods and educational institutions alike is that though lavish praise and peppering children with unearned or overinflated compliments, studies show we risk them actually feeling more insecure and emptier inside. I mean, tons of studies, and I can definitely link to those studies. But female athletes are herons in their own right, like track champion and Southern Utah University alum Linnea Saltz, who would wake up before dawn to get critical practice time in ahead of work and then night classes, but was sidelined in competition by a transgender identified athlete who snagged first place for the indoor mile. Quote, as all these women are putting everything that they have on the line to go ahead and race their best time of the season as fast as they can, Schultz told Independent Women's Forum, quote, the person that's beating them is being told to slow down. Crazy. How is an athlete supposed to feel out on the track when a male is gaining ground on her, pulls ahead, and then she overhears that male's coach from the sideline telling him he needs to slow down. Is that not textbook demoralization? I mean, that's just crazy. When fellow track champion and Southern Utah State University alum Madison DeBose was forced to compete against the same individual, she recounted that, quote, at that point, you kind of know that you're racing for second. That's just crazy. What good does it do to set women up for what are essentially Sisyphean tasks that sow division between sexes through experienced injustice? In his soul-stirring book, Man's Search for Meaning, Holocaust survivor and founder of logotherapy Viktor Frankl noted that social injustices can cause more pain than physical suffering because of the frustration that builds up with our principles and values are under siege. Our trust in humanity understandably erodes when we watch very systems we once thought were in place to safeguard equality, mutual respect. Now, imagine, I said equality, not equity. It's a difference. But equality, mutual respect, and coexistence fail. What's more, as part of the female sex, what's more, females that were actually biologically inclined to experience more intense neurological reactions towards injustice than male counterparts. But if we allow ourselves to ruminate on injustice, battles against discriminatory policies that seek to erase women aren't easily fought when our troops are demoralized in mass. For every brilliant, empowered woman like Riley Gaines, who, oh man, Riley is really standing up for herself. I love it. April Hutchinson, Taylor Silverman, and Madison Kenyon. Shout out to all them. There are countless brilliant but frightened women who have no outlet to express their disappointment as they watch opportunities fade away. And I think this is an opportunity for conservatives to pull them in and talk to them, and some of these feminists are gonna be conservative. It's gonna be weird because they are being erased. Their women are being erased in sports altogether. But men are becoming women of the year and all types of weird stuff. But their hearts are ill at ease over the very real possibility they too will be tormented as bigoted or transphobic, isolated by their peers, or driven out of the programs they worked so hard to become a part of. Back in 1984, former KGB agent named Yuri Alexandrovich Bezanov outlined how the Soviet Union used its mind games to subvert the American tradition and undermine psyches across the United States. He explained that ideological subversion begins with demoralization. It takes place out in the open, saying that, quote, you can see it with your own eyes. And don't we see it right now? By means of a slow drip, which could take upwards of 20 years, people become reprogrammed and unable to assess basic truths. Following this, new ideologies and realities can rise from the ashes of old narratives. Fake news becomes normalized, and as Bezanov put it, then, quote, you may kiss goodbye to your freedom. While he was providing a warning to Americans about Soviet tactics to weaken our great nation, it's quite evident that this exact model is now being championed by gender revolutionaries to destabilize existing institutions and the masses into re-education. The anniversary of Title IX is now upon us. If reversed, the systematic inclusion of male-bodied athletes within women's sports will without a doubt demoralize female athletes, many of whom have trained their entire lives. Not only will women suffer from a loss of opportunities, but their mental psyche will plummet. And the low self-esteem epidemic is already a debilitating point of vulnerability for young men, for young women, and I see it a lot in my practice. But this is a travesty, and I'm surprised again more feminists aren't speaking out against this. Shout out to Andrea Mew, who wrote this article to speak out against this from the the Federalists. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.